Okay, this is lesson 2.06 from Newton's second law, where we talked about force equals mass times acceleration and momentum equals mass times velocity. You were given some practice problems, and so this is the practice problems answer key. So this first question, a 50 kilogram car has a velocity of 50 meters per second north. What is the momentum? And we're going to put that on here as momentum equals mass, which is 50 kilograms, times velocity, which is 50 meters per second, and 50 times 50, right? So you get your calculator, and you can just say 50 times 50. I know most of you can do this in your head, but just to make sure you get the right numbers of zeros, is 2,500, okay? So 2,500, right? Kilograms, meters per second. Notice I used all of the units, kilograms, meters per second. In the answer, if you do not have the units, you do not have the correct answer. Okay, so this second question, a 10 kilogram bike has a momentum of 100 kilograms meters per second. What is the velocity? And we know that momentum, which in this case is 100 kilograms meters per second. Momentum is equal to mass, in this case is 10 kilograms, times velocity, which we don't know, right? And to get the answer for velocity, we have to get velocity by itself. What we do to one side, we have to do to them both. That means we need to get this 10 kilograms on the other side, over on this side somehow. To do that, you have to do the opposite math. Well, right here, we're multiplying. The opposite math is division, okay? So when we do this, there you go. When we do this, we're going to divide both sides by 10 kilograms, okay? We're going to divide both sides by 10 kilograms. Okay? When we do that, what happens is this 10 kilograms divided by this 10 kilograms just equals 1. Well, 1 times velocity is just the velocity. So they end up canceling each other out. Okay? So I can, let's see. Let me strike through. Okay, so they end up canceling each other out. Well, it won't let me do it. And then what we end up with, all right, is just the 100, let's see, I'm going to use parentheses here. The 100 kilogram meters per second divided by the 10 kilograms, which is equal to velocity. Notice this 100 kilograms per meter second divided by 10 kilograms is the same thing as this right here, okay? And 100 divided by 10 is 10, and the units of velocity are meters per second. All right, there you go. So down here, a wagon has a momentum of 250 kilogram meters per second. So we're going to plug that in first, 250 kilogram meters per second. And it has a velocity of 50 meters per second. It's asking us for the mass, right? Times 50 meters per second. Once again, we have exactly the same kind of problem we had up here. We had to get velocity by itself, but this time we have to get mass by itself. These are multiplying. The opposite math is division. And so we're going to divide both sides by 50. Okay. Get that over there. There we go. We're going to divide both sides by 50 meters per second, right? And the reason we do that is so that we can cancel out this 50 and this 50. So 50 divided by 50 is 1. Mass times 1 is just mass, right? This side we have 250 divided by 50. And so what we end up with as a problem is 250, and again I'm going to use the parentheses like I did above, 250 kilogram meters per second divided by 50 meters per second. Again, I'm going to use the parentheses just so you know what goes together. Okay, so here's the 250 divided by 50, right? 250 divided by 50 equals the mass. So 250, let's get our calculator cleared out. The 250, it comes first. Not only does it come first, but it's also on top. So that goes in the calculator first. 250 divided by 50 equals 5, right? So, but you can't just have 5. You actually have to have 5 and the units. So it's 5 what? Well, the units of mass are kilograms. It's 5 kilograms. Okay? And that's our answer there. Okay. So I'm going to put the problems all in something else that's easier to see. Okay. So you can see the difference between the questions and the problems. There you go. Okay. So if you have to pause and really take a look at this to see your answers, you can. Okay. Let's see. I know what I can do. We needed to cross off this. There we go. So those cancel each other, right? And those cancel each other. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Over here, calculate the momentum of this object. A 10-gram ball. That should be 10 kilograms, sorry. Let's make it 10 kilograms just for the units. A 10-kilogram ball was thrown east. It traveled at 15 meters in 4 seconds, right? This is 15 meters in 4 seconds. We know velocity is meters per second, so our first step is to figure out the velocity. Velocity should be in meters per second. We know we have 15 meters divided by 4 seconds, right? So 15 divided by 4. We have to do that. 15 divided by 4 equals 3.75. 3.75 what? Meters per second. And then we have our velocity formula, our momentum formula. Momentum is equal to mass, which is 10 kilograms, right? So we know our mass, we know our velocity, right? So the mass is 10 kilograms times the velocity, which is 3.75 meters per second. And when you multiply those, you get 37.5 kilogram meters per second. Okay, so there is how you figure it out, right? Right there. So now it says draw a picture. Okay, it says a ball is thrown east. This is a very simple thing to do. You just got to come up to the tools and insert shapes. Here's a ball. It's thrown east. Let's see, I'm going to get an arrow. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to insert a text box and I'm going to say east. There's my picture, right? Not difficult to do. All right, so now I'm going to go to the next question, okay? And it says speed is equal to distance divided by time. Calculate the speed of this ball. A 10-gram ball is thrown 3 meters down, and it arrived at its destination in 2 seconds. Okay? I need distance. 3 meters is a distance. I need time. 2 seconds is a time. I don't need that mass. Again, we're going to make it a kilogram just for units, but we don't need that mass. That mass is just an extra number that we don't need to use. Okay, so to figure out the speed, we know speed is equal to distance, which in this case is 3 meters, divided by time, and in this case that's 2 seconds, right? 3 meters divided by 2 seconds. And to do this math, I suggest, again, get a calculator. We do not use fractions in this class. 3/2 is not a correct answer. We actually have to use the calculator. Notice the 3 is on top. It's at the beginning. It comes first. So you do 3 divided by 2. And the answer is 1.5. 1.5 what? 1.5 meters per second. That is the speed, right? That is the speed. But it also says to draw a picture. Well, if we're going to draw a picture, it said it was thrown down, right? A ball was thrown down. So I can go up here just so you can see kind of how I'm doing this. I can go up here to Insert, Shapes. I pick my shape, and I come back down and I draw my shape. I can put it wherever I want it. I go back up to the Insert Shapes. I can pick my arrow, yeah? And I can draw the arrow pointing down. And I can go back up to Insert and Text Box. Whoop. Insert, Text Box, right? And I can say 1.5 meters per second down. And not only is that a speed, but it is also a velocity, right? It's both. All right. So there's your answer for that one. And the last one. Calculate the velocity. Again, we're going to stick with kilograms here. A 5-kilogram ball was thrown 5 meters up. It arrived at its destination in 2 seconds. So we know that velocity is equal to the distance. The 5 meters is the distance, right? 5 meters divided by time. Well, 2 seconds is the time. And again, calculators, you don't have to do math in your head. The 5 comes first. It goes in the calculator first. 5 divided by 2 equals 2.5, right? 2.5 what? Meters per second. And because it's a velocity, we also have to have a direction. So the direction is up. 2.5 meters per second up, right? Because velocities have speed and direction. And again, you can draw a picture. It's the same way. Insert, Shapes, draw a ball, put it where you want it, stick in an arrow, Insert, Shapes, right? I can go back to Insert and Text Box, and I can draw on there 2.5 meters per second up is the velocity, okay? If you have questions, please let us know. Otherwise, have a great day.